my lovelies, and welcome back to Happily at Home with the Haleses, with myself, Henry, my brother, Owen, and my dad, Chef Kieron. Sometimes we make a whole lot of brownies. This is our home recipe, and we make it for ourselves, our friends, and our neighbors. Okay, let's get started, and I'm going to hand this off to Chef Kieron and my dad.
All right, so let me get the mic up and loud. Usually, when we make brownies, we'll already have everything weighed out. And you're like, that's nice and convenient. We're going to show you how we do this, that when we start the recipe, we've already got everything ready to go. And then while we're doing the recipe, the kids will reweigh everything for the next day or the next week, depending on how often they eat the brownies. So for us, we've got a really nice, simple recipe. It's going to make a half sheet pan recipe of this size. The first thing we're going to do, Henry, would you go turn the oven on to 350? And we got it set for about 40 minutes. We've got a little toaster oven over there. It's like a little Breville guy. Press it again. Get the orange light going. There you go. So the 40 minutes will give us enough time to get everything ready. And by the time that gets down to about 20 to 25 minutes, that'll give us enough time to bake them. Does it make sense? All right. So for us, we've got really simple recipes here. They just come out of a little card box for us that we've got it. We'll have the notes underneath the video for us. Henry's going to edit those for us. One of the first things we're going to do is, this is Owen. And Owen's going to rub butter around all the pans. So we're going to line the pan with some butter and some flour. So Owen, you can start doing that. I'm going to steal one of these. Henry, you can do the silicone mat. If you didn't have something like a silicone mat, you could use some greaseproof paper. We'd still line it with a little bit of butter and flour to get it started. So what we've got going in this recipe. We've got 2 sticks of butter. I'm going to talk a lot about grams today. And so we've got 226 grams of butter, which is basically 2 sticks of butter. If they're out at room temperature, all the better. It makes the mixing really easy. Owen, roll up your sleeves. Yeah, you don't get butter all up in your sleeves. So we're going to cut the 2 sticks of butter, each one, into 4 little sticks, each of them. And it'll give us a nice small dice. The reason we want to do that is it'll give us the opportunity for that butter to warm up really well. Can you get all the nooks and crannies on the sides for me, Owen? Thank you, sir. So once we've got those all cut down and they're nice and warm at room temperature, we will slip that in our KitchenAid bowl. So on our recipe, we just put KB. So this is a K blade, and that's what this guy right here is. And it looks like a K blade. High five, good job. We're going to add some flour in the next. Owen, would you put all that butter in this bowl for me? Yeah. So we're going to mix the butter, the sugar and the cocoa powder together. So I'll grab the sugar and the cocoa powder. All done? Nice. You can drop it all in at once. No need to be gentle. There you go. I'll pick her up and you can slide them in. Whee! Very nice. You want to dump all that sugar in? Yeah. So on top of each one of these little deli containers, we've got the item. And then we've also got the gram, and then it says B on it for brownies for us. And so for us, we'll reweigh these out a little bit later on for us. And that means the next time we come to make these, it'll be really easy. You can dump all of this cocoa powder in there. Be real nice and gentle. And then Henry's going to start us off in the KitchenAid. In you go. Shake her in. Very nice. Give it a little tap. Very cool. So cocoa powder goes back on the cocoa lid. Sugar's back on the sugar one, and butter's ready on the butter one for us. So we're going to weigh those out once the brownies have started cooking for us. So Henry, if you want to lock that into the KitchenAid. Thank you, sir. Then you want to put the K-blade on. So the K-blade is when we want to crumble up butter. Instead of the dough hook, something like that, we'd be using for pizza dough, and then the whisk is for whisking things. So you got it locked in. Very nice. And we're going to start really slow. So I'm going to start it off for us, Henry. There you go. So you might get a little buff of cocoa or sugar coming out the outside of it. This is one of the smaller KitchenAid bowls, about a 4-quart bowl. And this is a perfect amount for us. And we make enough for us and then at least one of our neighbors or friends, because we always make too many brownies so we can share them with other folks. So this is going to be on the KitchenAid probably for another, I don't know, maybe 5-6 minutes. And we'll let it beat down until it gets really nice and soft.
Right now, we are looking for it to be fully combined with no butter traces left over. And it needs to be smooth and soft, just right to make brownies.
Okay, so the mix is basically done. and we'll show you an up close, but right now it looks like a nice soft buttery chocolate paste that we've got in here. So he pulled a little bit out so you can see it. This is ready to start getting the eggs, but one thing we need to do is finish getting our pan ready. So our lovely Owen has buttered the pan for us, and Henry buttered the silicone mat. Like I said, you could use some greaseproof paper. Owen, if you want to toss a little bit of flour in there for me. So shake her in. Yeah. Very nice. And then in there, give it a good shake. Okay. So you like this. Go. And then to get the edges, nice corners, we're going to tap it into another tray where we can make sure we see flour all the way around on the pan. And then you might notice we missed a couple of spots. So they're right on the bottom in the corner. So we're going to grab that soft butter that we had earlier. We'll grab this guy. We're just going to do a couple of little presses into where it was. So we make sure there's butter everywhere so the flour sticks. And that'll stop the brownies from sticking. We'll put a little more flour in there, give it another little tap. And then we've got one lined pan. We're going to do the same with our silicone mat. So we've got flour all around the outside of it. And then we're going to have that all ready. Our oven now we've got about another 5 or 6 minutes, which is enough time to finish everything. So like I said, this is about a 40-minute recipe from start to finish. We've got eggs that we're going to add to the mixer. So this is 4. We've just given them a little whisk already on hand. We actually weigh our eggs. That's 216 grams, which is about 54 grams an egg. And that's 4 whole eggs that are going to go in it. So we'll get on to the different camera angle. Let you see Henry and Owen mix these together.
Owen is going to slowly stream the eggs into the mixer while it is mixing.
So that looks pretty well mixed. If you pass me the bowl.
Of course.
So one thing we're going to do before we get this all finished is we want to scrape down the outsides of the bowl. This is just so there's no butter stuck to the bottom or sugar. And this is something that will make sure that it's incorporated really, really well. So give that a good turn over. And then we're going to put this back on the mixer for a quick blitz, maybe about a minute or 2 for us. You can see how soft and buttery and creamy this looks right now. So you can see all those bottom bits, Henry, that's stuck at the bottom. We want to get all of those up before we put it back on the mixer. That's just any of that cold butter that will have stuck to the bottom for us. And honestly, if you can see in there, there's just a few little lumps of butter, and we want that to be fully smooth and incorporated together. So Henry, if you want to slip that back on, we'll put that back on the mixer for a quick blitz. Sorry for the noisiness for a minute. Give that a blitz. Very nice. Okay, so we've got a couple of other ingredients. Oh, and what else we got to put in? Vanilla, some flour, and a little bit of salt. Okay, so those are the things. So the flour is going to give us the gluten to hold the thing together. Vanilla is going to give it a little bit of flavor. For us, we've got probably 100 vanilla pods in here, and they've got a little bit of vodka and some spices in there. These have been sitting around for a couple of years, but vanilla extract's totally fine. A couple of grams of kosher salt that's going to go in there as well. So Owie, can you go put those in, shake that into the mix. Very nice. Can you pour all that vanilla in for me? Thank you, sir. And so we're going to keep all of these lids like we talked about before, because we're going to rescale this out. So next time we make brownies, the boys don't have to wait around so much. And while it's baking, we're going to have one of the kids clean up, and we're going to have one of the kids reweigh everything. So that makes it nice and easy. All right, Henry, if you want to start that nice slow and low. So just for context, Owen's about to turn 10 and Henry's 12. And for knives and the kitchen equipment and the stove, completely fine with parental supervision. All right, I'm going to shake this in as it's mixing. A little dust. And we'll mix it in. So we're not putting it all in at once. We just want it to incorporate nice and well. If we put it all in at once, there's the risk of some of that flour getting clumpy. 100% should we consider sifting? Yes, but for us, we've already sifted it when we weighed it out, and it's going to be fine for us going into these brownies. Last little shake here. If I look over at the oven, we're getting real close on our time to put them in. Give that a little first quick bits. And that's it. Henry, if you want to crank up the bowl, take the key blade out, and we'll scrape these guys in here. And so what's nice about those, yeah, you give it a scrape. So what's nice about these, they take about 22 minutes. And I say about, they take exactly 22 minutes at 350 degrees. And the toast oven's kind of perfect because it's just the right amount of time to heat up for us as it takes us to make the recipe as well. All right, Hen, let's get that key blade off. And then I'm going to use my fingertips and scrape off the excess. So I can take that extra, scrape those in there, give all that extra goop. If you want to scrape around the outside of the bowl. Thank you, sir.
Looking good.
How's it looking, boys?
Looking good.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
All right. So then let's scrape that, and you can start dumping it in to the bowl. Oh, sorry, into the tray. You want to come that side? You go, oh, you can do it. Very nice. Very cool. Let me get a little scooper out for you. Henry, if you ever look in that drawer, there should be something that looks like a step palette knife right in that drawer right near your knees. That brown handled one. Yep, that's the guy. And then if you run it under the tap, get it a little wet for me. So I'm going to use the spatula and we'll level it out a little bit, and then Henry's going to come along and just give it a little tidy up for us. All right, buddy. Let me just scrape that guy, and then you can level it all out. Oh, he's going to put it in the oven. We'll make sure the timer is at 22 minutes and give it a go. Very nice, sir. Get it all to the edges. Try and make it nice and even. Roll up those sleeves, I think. Both of you are going to have to wear t-shirts next time. Mommy's not going to be happy with me. Come down this way. There you go. And the step palette knife just lets you be able to work it more evenly when you're trying to level out pans of dough mix. Give it a little scrape. Give it a little even out. There you go. There we go. There she goes. All right, Henry, if you go open the oven. Yes. Owen, if you go put this in the middle of the oven. And then Henry, I think we got a little waylaid because we did a couple of takes on a couple of things. I'm going to reset the timer to 22 minutes. So Owie, you go put that in the middle of the oven and we'll let this guy bake. All right, my lovelies. So Henry, if you want to open up that oven, he's reset the timer for 22 minutes. Owie, you want to push it in the middle of the oven. Careful, the hot. There you go. Henry's going to close it up. Perfect. And we'll see you in 22 minutes for some perfect brownies. So meanwhile, while they're baking, Henry's been weighing out everything. He's got the sugar already reweighed, the cocoa powder, the flour, the vanilla, and the salt. We'll crack the eggs and give them a whisk in a second. And then we'll clean everything up for when the brownies come out. While Henry's cleaning and resetting, Owen has snuck in the corner and is eating the brownie batter. Good job, Owen. All right, so brownies are out. They're cooled down. The boys have both had their baths. Quick outfit change. For some reason, Henry put back on his cap, which I like. So we talked about it, but we're going to run this step palette knife or a nice butter knife around the outside. And that's just going to free the outside edges so that when we flip it, it flips out really easy. We got it on a wire rack, and as you can see, it's still warm, but you can touch it. Going to put a wire rack on one side. Then give it a little flip. And then hopefully she all comes out. What do you think? Is it going to come out?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Oh, she came out. I'm going to peel this guy back. Nice and gentle. You don't want to peel back that silicone mat too quickly. And then, there's steel in the drawer. We'll get ourselves our chopping board. Do one more flip. And we got ourselves our brownie. Should we cut her up a little bit?
Yeah.
So we're going to give most of this away.
Okay.
You want to cut it up? Go for it. It's still going to be really soft, so if you want to cut that side, and you'll pull it through like a serrated knife. There you go. Let's cut that strip into pieces then. Mummy's behind the camera. We can shove Mummy a little piece. There you go, Mummy. You can have a piece of brownie. And then, boys, you can try it too. And the rest we'll cut up in a little bit. So, while the boys... Watch backs. So while the boys go off to bed, I'm going to finish testing the recipe. We've got our little checkerboard cookies. So this is from a cookbook recipe my mum used years ago. So we're testing a little recipe right now. I'm going to put them back in the oven and finish them. That'll be real soon. How are they? Pretty good? Delicious. So they're still nice and soft and gooey on the inside. They're crunchy on the outside. These might not be the best brownies you've ever had, but these are those easy 40 minutes from start to finish brownies. Again, we've already reweighed out everything for the next recipe. They're out, they're cooled down in 40 minutes. All right, you have a good one. We'll see you soon, lovelies.